In the Devar Malchut, which those are speeches of the Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1991, 1992, right before he had the stroke he was paralyzed, he couldn't speak anymore. But in those, there is no, that was given in those years, 91, 91 especially. I mean, he already had the stroke in 92. So in this time, it was on Adar. So that was before Passover. So the ones relating to Passover, those are weeks earlier. So what I'm trying to say is that in the Devar Malchut, there's nothing relevant to our Torah portion and to Passover that's dealing with exactly this date. And these Torah and these soul incorporate some of the ideas that are there over here. But here there is something. And these are speeches that were given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe very early in his leadership about Passover, purely about Passover. Let's see when it was given. When it was given, I should have looked at this up before, but I didn't. But I will now. Never too late. Here we go. Pesach. Here, this one says that these were speeches that were given from 1952 to 1957. Okay. And the Rebbe, of course, assumed leadership of Chabad in 1951, basically. So this is right after. Holiday of Passover. Okay, the holiday of Passover, one of the commandments of Passover is to talk about going out of Egypt, how the Jews went out of Egypt on the night of Passover, to say the Haggadah. To say the Haggadah. That's one of the commandments. Another one, you have to eat matzah. You have to eat matzah. Another one of the commandments is the prohibition. You can't eat chametz, can't eat mixtures of chametz. Okay, but one of the commandments is that you have to talk about going out of Egypt on the night of Passover. And originally, people would just say sentences from the Bible. But eventually it came that there was a book written. As far as I know, the first one that they actually found written, I have to remember that printing presses are only like 600 years old, something like that, 500 or 600 years old. So they say is from, what is it, Reb Sadia Gaon or Reb Hai Gaon or something. You have to look and see. About 1,000 years ago. That's the first one that's printed. But the commandment, Jews have been doing this for 3,300 years, talking about going out of Egypt. So here we go. Hey lach ma'anya, this is the bread of poverty. This is how we start off the Haggadah of Passover. Hey lach ma'anya, this is the bread of poverty. The achla avasena, there's etc. here. This is the bread of poverty that our fathers ate in Egypt. Now we are slaves. Next year, free men. Now we are what in exile. Now we are slaves. Next year we'll be free men. And it continues, says, now we're here. Next year we'll be in the land of Israel. This is the bread of our affliction. Next year we'll be free. The erste piska, the first statement, the first sentence, which we say in the Haggadah, is this: Hey lach ma'anya. This is the bread of, they say, affliction, of poverty, of suffering. Die piska, this sentence, sagt men nit bald in anheb. We don't say immediately in the beginning. From Pavram the Seder in the Seder. Namely, the first thing we do in the Seder night is you make kiddush. Take a cup of wine and you make kiddush on it. We don't say that before. Or immediately after kiddush. We say this in the beginning from the Haggadah. Like I said, there's a commandment to talk about going out of Egypt. Talk about going out of Egypt. So before that, we make the we make kiddush, right? And then we say other things, and then after that there is this is the bread of affliction that our fathers ate. Was Irian is Sipur B'Yitzis Mitzrayim. This is talking about the beginning of the actual story of going out of Egypt. Und der Rebbe, and therefore, steht as bald, it says immediately after Magid. Here, maybe I can, let's do this here 1 second. Let me just make a short pause over here, and I'll download. Well, maybe I won't make a short pause. Here we go. Let's do like this here. 1 minute, 1 minute. Bear with me over here. Bear with me 1 second. All right, I will make a pause. There we go. That doesn't work. All right, so the Haggadah Passover goes like this. First of all, we make Kiddush. Kiddush, you take a cup of wine. You're going to drink 4 cups of wine tonight. The first cup is right at the beginning, right before the very first thing you do, you make Kiddush. That's also the last thing you do. After you make the blessing of after eating, you drink the last 4th cup of wine. And the second cup, you fill it up and you say the whole Haggadah on it. And the 3rd cup, you say the blessing after eating on it. Say after, okay, right before you say the big Hallel. So you say, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, that you chose us from all the nations and you elevated us. That's the holiday of the Passover. And you say Shehechianu, and then you lean over. Every time you drink wine or eat matzah, you lean over to your left. Lean over to your left, drink that wine, eat that matzah. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, so now here we go. We finished. You finished okay, now you finished this. You finished making Kiddush. Right, finish. Then after that, you say, wait a second, I'm sorry, even before that, before you make the Kiddush, you say, here we go. Before you make the Kiddush, right before, this is not part of the Seder of Passover. Before you make Kiddush, you say what's the order of things you're going to say. And some people sing it. Kadesh, Urachatz, Karpas, Yachatz. First of all, you make Kiddush. That's the first thing you do. You wash your hands. You eat the karpas. Karpas is a piece of onion or something like that. And we'll explain why. Yachatz, you break the middle matzah. You have 3 matzahs. You break the middle. Then Magid. Then you pour the 2nd cup and you make, say, the Seder, the Haggadah. That's the Magid. Then afterwards, you wash your hands and you make 2 blessings on the matzah, mamotzi lechem min haaretz and matzah. Then after that, and when you eat that, you lean over. You eat the morer, bitter herbs. Then you take the bitter herbs, which is usually horseradish or something. Lettuce is the best, horseradish, lettuce, and then you put it between 2 pieces of matzah, and you eat it. Make a sandwich, korach. Then you eat your meal. Then you find the afikomen. Then you make blessing after eating. Then you say the big Hallel and Nirtzah. So you drink wine over here. You drink wine over, 1 second, where is it? Yeah. Matzah. Here. Shulchan Aruch, after Shulchan Aruch, you drink matzah, you drink your cup of wine in the beginning, Kiddush. Then after that, you drink the wine right before here. Anyway, you drink the wine right before the Kiddush, right in the beginning. Then you drink the wine after the Magid. Then after that, you eat your meal. You drink the wine after you make the blessing after eating, Shulchan Aruch. And then you drink the wine right in the end. That's the 4 cups of wine. Good. So you're saying all these things. Some people sing Kadesh Uchatz, Karpas Yachatz, Magid Ratzah, Motzi Matzah, Moror Korech, Shulchan Aruch, Tzfon Avarech, Hillel Nirtzah. Then you make Kiddush. And after you make Kiddush, right, now you're starting the Haggadah. You start to talk. What's the first thing you say? Hey, Lachma'anya, this is the bread of affliction. This is the bread of affliction that our fathers ate in the land of Israel. Anyone who wants to come and eat, anyone who needs to make the Pesach offering. Now we're here. Next year we're going to be in the land of Israel. Now we are slaves. Next year we're going to be free. And then afterward, we have the questions that we asked the four children. Man, Ishtana, Laila. Now let's go back to what did I do? I erased it. Look at this. All right, I erased it. Here we go. 1 second. Okay, we got that. We got this here. Let's do this. I'm sorry, I erased where the page where we were on. I unintentionally, it was not intentional, erased it. Here we go. Hebrew books. 1 second. This is taking more time than I thought, but it's worth it. Here we go. Aleph. Read online. Here we go. This is like 200 and something. Net. Here we go. 1 second. Excuse me. Here we go. We're getting close. We're getting close. Oh, I erased this. I don't know. There we go. Good. This is this aggravating. Here we go. Pesach. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. And the Seder from the light of Passover. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do over here? I got the wrong page. Look at this. I got the wrong book. This is awful. 1 second. Excuse me, please. This is, I wanted to do Gimel, and now we got Aleph instead. All right. Yeah. Okay. Stop here. Here we go. So the first thing that we say in the night of Passover is Hey Lachma Anya. This is the bread of affliction. This comes not immediately in the beginning, where we say all the four things, Kadosh, Urachatz, etc., or even before Kiddush, but it says immediately after that, like it says in the beginning of the Haggadah. Was earring, and the whole thing of the Haggadah is Sipur talking about Yetziat Mitzrayim, how the Jews left Egypt. And therefore, state as bald, it says immediately after Magid, immediately. We say this sentence about Hey Lachma Anya, and it says this begins with the kara, you lift up the plate, or like our custom is, we uncover the plate and we say the Haggadah and the Sipur says, Hey Lachma Anya. This is before. This is like the introduction. This is the introductory sentence, or if you want to call it the title. In a way, this is the whole title of the night, the Haggadah of Passover this is the bread of affliction that our fathers ate when they were in Egypt. One of the reasons is because the holiday is called the holiday of Matzot. It's given three names. It's Man Cherotenu, it's called Chag Pesach, and it's called Chag Matzot. So Chag Matzot, we're supposed to say the Haggadah on Matzot, any Matzot. Therefore, it's clear as thus was menzak that we say in the Piska in the beginning from Africhten, the Seder from doing the whole night Seder night is does not know. It's just not because that the content is inviting people to the night of the Seder Passover. Because what are you saying? Anyone who wants to come and eat. But that's not the purpose. First of all, if that was the purpose, we would have done it in synagogue when there's people to invite. Here we're sitting around the table. Who are we inviting? So therefore, Darf Man as Tan was freer. If it was really to invite people, which is that's what it says. Anyone who wants to come and eat, right? You're not opening your windows up, yelling out into the streets, or you should have said it even earlier before you make kiddush, or as soon as you came home, or even more when you're still in synagogue. Bald kumen or other for even before you go away from the synagogue. All the Jews just finished praying. Before you come home, make the statement: anyone who wants to come to my house and eat. Why do they put it? This sentence over here. This is the bread of affliction. Anyone who wants to come and eat from my bread. When do we say that? When everybody's already invited. You're already sitting in your house. The doors are closed. The windows are closed. Now you're inviting everybody in. Who's going to come? You should say it in synagogue where there's a lot of people that you can invite. Nor be'ikar, but while thus is the tchila, the reason we say it is because this sentence is the whole content of going out of Egypt. The Rebbe is going to explain that this sentence is really what God is saying to us. You're going to see in a minute. Was the Rebbe, therefore, can as nit kumen far them simon, you can't come before the simon of Magid. This is inviting, this is the essential beginning and the title of the whole night. Now, what is Judaism? Judaism is born because God himself did everything. So it's a big message to us that God does things. And don't think you're alone in the world. You have to do what you can. Once in a while, God helps. Maybe, you have miracles. It's supposed to be that God helps all the time. So, but unlike going out of Egypt, that's just the beginning. Unlike going out of Egypt, as soon as God gave the Torah, so he says, okay, up to now I did everything. Now I'm giving you the Torah, and you have to be my partner. You have to be my partner. To the degree that sometimes it's going to appear that you're doing everything, that I'm a silent partner. But the Passover, the beginning of Passover is to let us know God does exist, God does care, God is involved in the world, God changes the world, God wants good things to happen, and God makes good things happen. So don't think God is just this religious figure that after you die, you go up to heaven and a big voice comes out and says, you did the right thing, wow, are you lucky? And God is helping us every moment in this world. And regarding the upper world, that's also in God's hand. Upper world is totally in God's hand, in going to heaven. Totally in God's. According to Judaism, Maimonides explains that a person could do good deeds his whole life, be a wonderful person, and God said, yeah, but you were supposed to help this old lady across the street, and you didn't, so go to hell with all of your good commandments and everything. You know what? In hell, I have some connections down there, and it won't be so hot for you. So what do you mean? I did good things my whole life. The lady across the street, you were supposed to help her, and you didn't do it. That's it, right? You go down to hell and you say, but where is, Shmerel, this guy? He didn't do any commandments. Oh, he helped an old lady across the street. And so what? Just because of one good thing? He goes, that's the way it goes. God says, I decide what's how it goes. So how do you know? The answer is you don't know. So don't care. Just do as much good as you can. And we can rest assured that it's not going to be arbitrary what happens in the world to come. But what it means is don't think about it. It's not your business. Do as much good as you can because it's good, not because of what you're going to get. But the fact is God cares. Oh, that's the going out of Egypt. Going out of Egypt is a sign that God cares. And it's so important to the degree that that's the first of the 10 commandments. I am God that took you out of Egypt. That's the first of the 10 commandments. But the Rebbe, therefore, this can't, okay, Darfman, first thing, we have to understand why, if so, the God of Passover is so important. It's talking about God. Why is it so important that it's saying this is the bread of our poverty, right? I'm inviting everybody to come and eat, and next year we're going to be free people. Why is this so important? Why is this the title? For was hat man the Piska Lachmanya reingestellt said in the Seder from Magid, und noch mehr, and even more, therefore that which this thing of Lachmanya, this is the beginning from the whole Haggadah. This seems to imply that Lachmanya, this thing we say, this is the bread of affliction, of poverty that our fathers ate, and anyone who wants to can come and eat from it. This must be, and inviting all the people, this somehow or other is the general summary of the whole entire story of going out of Egypt. Vibaltas loit dem angenomene nusach, according to the accepted nusach, and there's order of how things appear here in this in the Agada, is licheora verdach garnit erzählt wegen Yetzias Mitzrayim. The whole night is talking about going out of Egypt, and this is the title. It has nothing to do with going out of Egypt. What do we say? This is the. Let's go back. At least we lost so much. 1 minute. Oh, here. Hey lach ma'anya. This is the bread of poverty that our fathers ate in the land of Egypt. Anyone who wants to, it doesn't talk about going out of Egypt. Anyone who wants to come and eat, anyone who needs to come and make the Pesach, that was the offering, Pesach offering. Now we are here. Next year we're going to be in the land of Israel. Now we are slaves. Next year we're going to be free people. That's the whole the whole Agada. We should be saying something like, this is the story of how the Lord helped the Jews get out of Egypt. And that's why we are free today. But it doesn't say that. It says exactly the opposite. Now we are slaves. Next year we're going to be free. Right? Next year we're going to be free. And this is that's not the story of Passover. The story of Passover is that right now we're free. We got out of Egypt. And God, thank you, God, for taking us out. And that's not what it said. Remember this is the bread of poverty. Bad Egypt, we're slaves. That's just talking about all these bad things. The only good thing about it is that we're inviting people to come in. And why are we doing that here? We should be doing it in the synagogue. So what's going on? Why is this so indicative and so, of the whole entire night of Passover? Why is this the best title? Here we go. 1 minute. Hope I don't lose this thing again. Oh, this is what I want to write. Yeah. Also, we also have to understand what's their token, what's the content of what this says. It says there's three things. What does it say? They don't seem to have any connection one with the other. First of all, I say this is the bread that our forefathers ate. This is the matzah. And matzah is on the table. And it is poor bread, afflicted bread. Was unser avos, which our forefathers, they ate in the land of Israel. Number one. Number two, and we invite everyone in. With that, all the hungry people and all the people which are needing come in. What's it got to do with the matzah? Seemingly nothing. Then the third part of this paragraph we say is a request in the future. Bakashas bitachon, we are requesting and we are certain that even though now we are here and we are slaves, next year we're going to be this year we are here and we are slaves. Next year we're not going to be here. We're going to be in the land of Israel. We're going to be in the land of Israel. 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah. Goes is Mirzayin and Avadim. Now we are slaves. Well, I mean, we're slaves. We're not slaves. Are you a slave? I'm not a slave. And be in the land. Next year we're here, but next year we're not going to be here. We're going to the land of Israel. I mean, maybe you fellas are not. I'm in the land of Israel already, aren't I? In the land of Israel. I mean, I live here in Israel, not far from Tel Aviv is Israel. I hope they haven't given away to the Arabs, but as far as I know, we're in Israel. So what are we talking about? What does this mean? That now we're slaves. I'm a slave, and now we're not in Israel. Going to be in Israel. I'm not a slave, and I am in Israel. What is this meaningful? And we're inviting everyone to come into our house. When are we inviting? When we're sitting in, and the whole thing doesn't say anything about the night of Passover, going out of Egypt. As Faran Meforshim, some people say that explain the reason for this is, okay, we're going to have to stop this soon because it's getting late. Okay, some people say, we'll continue this tomorrow. Some people say Vasainin Mavair, which they explain that the connection between the first two details. What does it say? Again, what does it say? This is the bread of affliction that our forefathers ate. Part number one. Part number two, anyone who wants to come and eat. Number three, next year we're going to be free and in the land of Israel. Okay, some people explain the first two parts, which seem to have no connection to them whatsoever. This is the bread of affliction. Good. Anyone who wants to can come and eat. What could they say? No, the Gemara says, as there was didn't eat a person that hires Jewish workers, darfer speisen, you have to give them food in the sight from in the time when they're working, be bald aber as Yidden, because Jews are the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, as V Zainad, because they are the sons of kings. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they were kings. Other V, their Lashon, like it says, they are sons of kings, or they are actually kings, Jewish people. We're connected to the creator of the universe, the kings that's like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Is oib afilu zol given, even if you give them the meal of King Solomon in his time. And King Solomon says he used to prepare, 1,000 meals every day, each one for each one of his wives, and he used to pick one wife and eat with her. As vet noch, everything will be nit yotzizan, he won't have fulfilled his obligation. The Rebbe, therefore, is the einzige Eitzah, the only advice. You want to invite Jews into your house, you have to, so that if you just invite them without telling them what you're going to give them, then no matter what you give them, it's not going to be technically enough, right? They can say, I want 2-piece pheasants under glass. I want wine that's 300 years old. Whatever they can ask for the best. As zol midzei freer a rice raid, and you have to first of all explain to them Vosser Zay given, what he's going to give to them. That I'm only going to give you bread and beans. That's what it says in the Gemara. And you're hiring Jewish workers, you have to make a stipulation with them. You have to know that what you're going to get 3 sandwiches in the morning. You want 4th one, you can get a 4th one, 5th one. But I'm not going to give you steaks, and I'm not going to give you, the best food in the world. You're not going to get that. You have to tell them clearly. So that's what we're doing here. You're inviting everybody in. And so what are you going to say? You say, listen, I'm inviting you, but you should understand that I'm only going to give you matzah. That's what we got. Bibald, as soon as he comes in, anyone who wants to come in can eat. Anyone that invades it, you have to know that what am I going to give you? Because you Jews, your B'nai Malachim, your princes or your kings, as a vilu ervet, even if he vet zain given, even if I give you a meal like King Solomon in his time, you want 30 steaks, you want 50 steaks, vet as alts nit, it's not going to be enough. Therefore, I say, listen, I'm inviting you to my house, but hey lachmanya, bread of affliction. I'm not obligated to give you any more than matzah. Some people say that's the explanation. The Rebbe does not agree with this, but when oivdem lechan, on this bread, I'm inviting you to eat. Anything that you get more than that is extra. You can't demand, right, more than okay. But according to this, Voltach Keven Genuge would have been enough if you would have just said the words, Hey Lachmanya, this is poor bread. So Livas, why does it also say, Men Mosif, that our fathers ate in the land of Egypt? If the whole thing was just to invite Jews in and to let them know that you can't expect more than this is what I'm going to give you. You should be happy with everything else. Don't demand more. So good, say, this is the bread of affliction. And that's what you're going to eat. Why does it have to, this is the bread of affliction that our fathers ate in Egypt? Why add on these words that our fathers ate in Egypt? Just say, this is bread of affliction. That's what you're going to get. Okay, that's, at least somebody gave some answer to the first 2 parts of this sentence that we say. This is the bread of affliction, and I'm inviting everybody in. They gave us sort of an answer. The Rebbe says, I don't like that answer. What about the other 2 parts? The tzfeiten inyan. What about the 2 and the second and the third? What's the second? The second one says, the second part of this 3-part statement. The second one is anyone who wants to come and eat. And now we are here, slaves, but next year we're going to be in Israel and free. What's the connection between inviting everybody? There's commentaries that they say like this. The grade is charity, that it makes the redemption come close. We learned that right before. Charity is one of the things that's going to hasten the arrival of Moshiach. As in Zechut, in the merit of inviting poor people and giving them the opportunity to eat, Yechol v'Yisach, because of that, and the merit of that, next year we're here, and next year we're going to be in the land of Israel. I'm sorry, next year we're going to be in Israel and we'll be free. That's pretty good. It says, anyone who wants to come and eat, and then afterwards, next year we're going to be free in the merit that I'm inviting people in and giving them charity, then that's going to bring Mashiach. That's pretty nice. Says the Rebbe, is aber noch als nit verstanden, it's not understood. Why do you have to say two things? In the land of Israel and people that are free. Why it could have just said, I'm inviting everybody in, and because of that, next year, now we're here and we're slaves. Next year, we're going to be free and Israel. Why does it say now we are here? Next year, we're going to be there. Now we're slaves. Next year, we're going to. Why put them? Why two separate sentences? Und for was teilt man verbund? What it says, Hashta, now we are here. Next year, we're going to be in Israel. Now we are servants. Next year, we're going to be free. Why do they have to divide it up? If the whole thing is just telling us that because I'm inviting you in, therefore the redemption is going to come. So say, come in now, right? I'm inviting you in, and therefore next year we're going to be free in the land of Israel. As Voltas Gaven Ganuk, it would have been just saying, you could have said, now we are here and slaves. Next year we're going to be free in the land of Israel. Okay, the Rebbe is going to explain something very deep over here, and let's just start it off. This is what I wanted to say. See, as you do, it's known what the rabbis say, Magi Davarav Yaakov Chukov Mishpatav Yisrael, that whatever God tells us to do, he does. What that God does, he tells the Jewish people to do. Also, what he's doing, the commandments, what he commands the Jewish people to do, as a result of our doing it, he does. So he does it first, and we do it, and then when we do it, God does it. We have a relationship with God. That God acts and we react, and then we act and God reacts. Thus was the that which God tells us the Jews to do, as God does himself. As automatically, the Rebbe is going to continue, as if so, what's that got to do with us? This statement that we just finished reading, this statement, this here, yeah, this statement that we say in the beginning, we are just quoting what God is saying this night. That the night of Passover, we are telling everyone, right now, God is saying these words. This is the bread of affliction that our fathers ate in Egypt. God has fathers, we'll see. Anyone who wants to come and eat, God is inviting us. Now we're here, next year we're going to be in the land of Israel, we're going to be free. God is saying this. What does it mean? Tune in tomorrow and find out. And now let us do the Yom Yom. This thing is Yom Yom.